I would like to be clear of why I'm sharing this information with you today. I want to talk to my fellow athletes. I want to talk to coaches. I want to talk to parents. Coaches, educate your players. Educate your team. Educate your athletes. Parents, talk to your children. We have obviously been sent down the wrong path yet again, my sisters and brothers, pertaining to this kneeling down before a sporting event trend. It is trending, or let me say it is trendy to kneel before a sporting event in honor of a protest. I also want to invite you to watch part one of this video to get the foundation of what I am about to say. And I'm not using this as an opportunity to point fingers or to place blame. I am not interested in that. I want to talk to you, parents, as a member of your extended family. And coach, I wish I could be in the locker room with you, but we know that's probably an unrealistic request. But your players, coach, your children, parents, they're using their body language to send a much needed message. And again, I don't know who's responsible for having our athletes and children to get down on their knees in the name of a protest. I'm not interested, and I don't have to know who's responsible for that. I just know now that the sporting events are their platform, and they're using their bodies or their body language to send a message to the rest of the world. But I want you to make them aware that their body language could either show dominance or submission. Your body language, my fellow athlete, can either show dominance or submissiveness. And that's what I want to talk to you about for a few minutes today. I know that your hearts are in the right place. I know that you mean well. I know what you mean. But images are powerful. Images are so powerful that the images that we portray today will live on for generations to come. The images that we portray today will outlive us throughout eternity. So my question for you, my dear sisters and brothers, my dear fellow athletes, what image does kneeling down on your knees really project? What image does this position depict universally? See, the whole world is watching. And I want to make you aware of the difference between dominant and submissive body language. You already know that the whole world does not speak your verbal language, but body language is universal. Body language is transcendent. Body language is timeless. What do I mean when I say that? If we look at history, we learn that the Greeks and the Romans rejected kneeling. They said that kneeling down was unsuitable for a free man. They said that kneeling down was an inappropriate behavior or gesture for a man who was free. Kneeling is widely used and accepted as an expression of reverence and submission. I want to remind you of, in more recent history, Black Olympic athletes John Carlos and Tommie Smith. They raised their fist in the 1968 Summer Olympics as a show of strength. I'm not suggesting that you do that. I just want to make a point that the clenched fist, it dates way back to ancient Assyria, and it was used as a symbol of resistance in the face of violence. in the face of violence. In the face of violence. In order to be in the face of violence, you have to stand up, not kneeling down at the foot of your oppressor. My sisters and brothers, let me remind you, lastly, that before the Middle Passage, black people were a powerful and proud people. But kneeling down in reference to black people, no, that's an expression of capitulation and surrender. Kneeling down as it pertains to black people means to lay down your sword and give up the struggle. Kneeling down means, coaches and parents and my fellow athletes, it means to knuckle under. It means to concede defeat. It simply means to quit. Coaches, educate your players, educate your team. Parents, talk to your children. Now, I'm not here to tell you what to do, coach. I'm not here to tell you what to do, fellow athletes, in honor or in the name of protest. I am telling you, and I'm asking of you, to whatever you decide to do, get off of your knees and do that. Do it while standing strong and proud. And unless you are asking for change, unless you are pleading or begging for change, then okay, get back down on your knees and beg. But if you are demanding change, if you are demanding for change immediately, you must absolutely get back off of your knees and back on your feet and demand change from a standing position. That is a position of power and a position of dominance. You must stand up so the whole world can see that we ain't beggars. You must stand up in honor of Harriet Tubman, for those of you who have forgotten why we stand. You stand up in honor of Denmark Vesey, sometimes pronounced Vesey. You stand up in honor of Sarah Breedlove, better known as Madam C.J. Walker. You stand up in honor of Timothy Drew. We know him as Noble Drew Ali. You stand up in honor of my brother Emmett Lewis Till. You stand up for the greatest of all time, who stood up for you first. 3-time heavyweight champion, boxer. You stand up for Muhammad Ali. You stand up for Dr. George Washington Carver. Get off of your knees and stand up for Jackie Robinson, because he stood up for you first. You stand up for Wilma Rudolph. You stand up for the Tuskegee Airmen, and the list goes on and on and on. We stand for them and many others because they first stood for you. They first stood for me. Just in case you have forgotten the real reason why we stand up. And again, I'm not here to point fingers. It's okay. And because nobody's perfect, Donnie McClurkin said it best when he said, we fall down, but we get up. So get up, stand strong and be proud. Getting back down on your knees, no, that's not an option. Whatever you decide to do in the name of your protest, get off your knees and do it. My name is Jay Jackson.